I thank you.
That was the CEO of the Ghana Upstream Petroleum Chamber, David Ampofo. The Association of Ghanaian Industries, AGI, is calling for clear policy direction on the importation of some products such as rice and chicken into the country. This, the association maintains, will help promote self-reliance. Speaking on the sidelines of its Accra Regional Annual General Meeting, the National Treasurer of the AGI, Avle Ayite, called on government and key stakeholders to work to change the narrative to boost exports.
We appreciate that chicken and rice has more or less taken over our eating tables. Okay, now Ghana is currently pushing towards 400,000 metric tons of chicken a year. I mean, we are like the third highest importer of chicken. But if you look at history, we came from somewhere. We had Omazi poultry. Okay, we had a hatchery in addition. Okay, all these industries are gone, but there are people who are still in it. But they have serious difficulties. I mean, talking of soya, talking of maize, before the concentrate. Okay, these are quite expensive for the local manufacturer. So by the time they finish, you can barely sell your chicken for even 100 cedis to make profit. Okay, if these imports can be made available at the best prices, we have the land, we have irrigation, we have water. Okay, so the supply chain needs to be reviewed. In that, we're talking about nothing less than 5,000 to 10,000 acres of land. Okay, we can always learn from contract farmers who we can bring in to come and help. They share the knowledge and they leave after a couple of years.
That was the National Treasurer of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, Avle Ayite. The Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana is urging practitioners to ensure the delivery of tailored products to meet the demand of ordinary Ghanaians. This, the association believes, will simplify the technicalities surrounding insurance services and products. Speaking during a program to educate the media on the key roles of insurance brokers, President of the association, Shaibu Ali, also entreated media practitioners to be circumspect with the kind of insurance companies they promote on their portals.
We need to demystify insurance, and we believe we can better do this by getting closer to the younger ones while still at school. Once we have been able to get them to assimilate what insurance is at that level, when they grow to the productive age, insurance will not be a mystery to them, and buying insurance would not be a problem. Insurance is very technical. Extremely technical. If you don't find a way of bringing it down to the level of the consuming public would always see insurance as a monster, and that would in the long run affect the penetration figures of insurance. The second role of the broker is to explain to the client and guiding them to comply with policy terms and conditions.
That was the president of the Insurance Brokers Association, Shaibu Ali. Let's now check how some major currencies are faring on the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves. The dollar gained 2 pesos and is selling at 13 cedis 6 pesos. The pound lost 24 pesos and is selling at 14 cedis 86 pesos. And the euro gained 6 pesos and is selling at 13 cedis 9 pesos. However, at some forex bureaus within the capital, the dollar is selling at 14 cedis 50 pesos. The pound is selling at 15 cedis 60 pesos, and the euro is selling at 14 cedis 35 pesos. Let's now join Gideon Amwinichi of Data Bank for the latest updates on the bonds market.
Monday's trading session on the Ghanaian secondary bond market was dull, with total market turnover amounting to 1.06 billion Ghana cedis. The 2022 to 2025 maturities dominated the session, accounting for 91% of the volumes traded at an average indicative yield of 44%. The Data Bank bond index declined, expanding the year-to-date loss to 21.94%. On the money market, the Ghanaian Treasury will float an offer of 2.06 billion Ghana cedis across the 91-day to the 3-4-day bills on Friday, 11th November. At the last auction, the 91-day yield settled at 33.34%, while the 182-day yield moved up to 34.85%. The 3-4-day yield cleared at 34.80%.
That was Gideon Amwinichi of Data Bank. And that does it for the breakfast edition of Citi Business News, proudly brought to you by MTN, Goil and Enterprise Life, your advantage, Access Bank, more than banking, and powered by your most comprehensive business news website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Neteli Nete Ajaho. Have a good business day.
A Razi TME, a Razi increment in my salary. This is all I ask this season. A Razi Buami.
Mbappe, please stop disturbing God and switch your salary account to Access Bank now to get a triple salary.
Oh yes, it's as simple as that. Switch your salary account to Access Bank Empower salary account and stand a chance of winning 3 times your monthly salary. You heard me right. 3 times your salary. Also win exciting prizes like school fee scholarships, free DSTV subscriptions, interest-free loans, free insurance cover, cashback rewards, and a lot more by spending a minimum of 500 Ghana cedis with any of our Visa card. Promo runs from now to 30th April 2023. This promo is in partnership with NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. Access Bank, more than banking.
Jack, you know my boss owns a fleet of commercial cars and he drives only brand new vehicles. Latest. Before he hired me, this is what he said. Krachi, my vehicles are my investment. It is a winning, now winning, and you buy any fuel apart from Goil. Waboka, sign this undertaking.
But he was right?
Yes, and he's right. Goil stocks only higher grade fuels, further enriched with XP3, multifunctional enhancer, more efficient, eco-friendly, and at no extra cost. Available at every Goil station at Jibedia. Goil Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP, higher grade fuels, excellent for modern engines and all vehicles. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yes, you.
Me tycoon. Hey, na se ka be bra wo kra na patututui. Aden.
Ilevi asem you.
Ilevi aye den. Chese wo de wo nya aguche ntie nchechemu ahodo aye mani na ye mpo ansa na wudu sike nyina di akone aba. Se ne ye wo 1995. Ilevi ne de. Aba o. Na so nim say ya MTN de. Obe sort en out.
MTN be sort me out say.
Ho, enti wo nim say nyama ahodo bi wo ho a. Yenje Ilevi wo so. Te say wo transfer sika ye de free account ba akoso. E de akọ account for so. Efe, wo cash in and now wo cash out wo MTN agents bia ho. Wo to data and now airtime. Wo tua wo bills. E na mpo ye ma no sika free abrochi and now say wo tua wo taxes. We na yente E-levy e wo so.
Oh yeah, sure.
Tie, jumedi ahodo pi wo ho a wo de MTN momo ye a E-levy tax no enka no hwe bebre so ka ho kra o sa kan se e de bia 100 Ghana cedi a edi kan a wo be transfer no yente wo hwe
na minimo
afei de wonim
jumedi ahodo bebre wo ho a wo de wo MTN momo ye a yente E-levy tax wo so enti koso ne nya ho bambo ene ahotoso papa bi a MTN momo ko na tumi ye ma wo na tumi fa MTN momo so etueche waka nyina ntentam so.
MTN.
The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
$7:14. Up next is Kickoff. Wrapping up all that is hot from the world of sports. Proudly brought to us by Let's Share, and they're asking if you have updated your records. If not, get to a nearest branch and do so that the Ghana card now reflects on your profile and on your files and all, and you can easily conduct all your transactions. Send a WhatsApp message to 0574065958 or call 0302-208-333. Let's share, let's improve lives. Daniel Cranting is here. It's time for kickoff.
Morning, it's time for kickoff here on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Daniel Cranting. In the headline, former Ghana midfielder Yusuf Chipsa urges Ghanaians to stay positive about the Black Stars. Senegal forward and captain Sadio Mane is a major doubt for the World Cup, and all the latest in the Carabao Cup as Chelsea are knocked out by Manchester City. Let's start off with the Ghana Premier League, and a high court in Accra has for the fourth time adjourned a contempt case filed against the Executive Council members of the GFA by Ashanti Gold to November 17. The miners are seeking for the Executive Council members to be imprisoned for what they describe as a disregard for the dignity, respect and authority of the court. After the November 17 ruling, the Executive Council members will open their defense. Moving on, the public relations officer of Bet Power Ghana, Ni Ama Shonkatai, has told City Sports that his outfit has no regrets in their decision to sponsor the Ghana Premier League. The local top flight was halted for about 2 weeks after an injunction was placed by demoted Ashanti Gold Sporting Club. The court saga is now over after the Obuasi-based club withdrew their application for an injunction at the appeals court in Accra on Tuesday. According to Ashon Katai, Bet Power is happy with their investment in the Ghana League.
Never, because at the end of the day, it is about the players. And that's why it's about Ghana football, it's about the players. Why would anybody regret sponsoring a league that is giving money to the teams and giving money to their players? Will never regret this. Never, no matter what. These are legal issues. If the GFA come to us to say they are not able to organize the league again, that would be the worry. But if some people feel that they are aggrieved and they've taken the league to court, based on which we have to wait, we believe that people have their rights. And once it's within the limits of their rights, we are okay.
Niama Shonkatai is the public relations officer of Bet Power Ghana. Moving on, former Ghana midfielder Yusuf Chipsa has urged Ghanaians to stay positive about the Black Stars ahead of Qatar 2022. There have been mixed reactions to reports that some key players have been dropped by Otuado in his official 26-man squad. Speaking to City Sports, Chipsa believes a positive mindset will help the team better their quarter-final finish at South Africa 2010.
Positive minds and positive thinking always wins. That is good. Let's take this with us. There is only one Ghana and one Black Stars. There isn't any other one. Let's all rally behind the team and achieve something better for Mother Ghana. We're really looking forward to see us going beyond where we got to in South Africa. That is getting to the semis and if possible to the finals. This is our wish and we hope that the boys will deliver.
You heard former Ghana midfielder Yusuf Chipsa speaking there. Let's now get into our Walker Facts series today in Qatar. Evans Ufochumanso focuses on 3 players to captain Ghana at the tournament.
Welcome to Today in Qatar. Stephen Appiah was the first player to captain the Black Stars at the World Cup. The ex-Juventus midfielder played in all 3 group games at the 2006 edition as Ghana was eliminated by Brazil in the round of 16. The second player to captain the Stars at the World Cup is John Mensah. The central defender led the Black Stars through the group games of the 2010 World Cup. He missed the penalty in the quarter-final shootout and Ghana was eliminated by Uruguay. Asamoah Gyan was the third player to captain Ghana at the World Cup in the 2014 edition. The striker played in all 3 group games, scoring twice in the process. Unfortunately, that was Ghana's most disappointing World Cup campaign as the team crashed out at the group stage.
Let's do some more World Cup related news. And Senegal captain Sadio Mane is a doubt for the World Cup after sustaining a leg injury while playing for Bayern Munich on Tuesday. The 30-year-old came off after 20 minutes in Bayern's 6-1 win over Werder Bremen with an injury to the head of his right fibula. Bayern said the forward will miss Saturday's game against Schalke but will undergo further tests in the coming days. Moving on, Tottenham Hotspur and South Korea. Forward Son Heung-min has assured South Korea supporters he will be fit to play the World Cup in Qatar. The 30-year-old suffered a fracture around his left eye during Tottenham's win over Marseille in the Champions League. He had a surgery on Friday and missed Tottenham's 2-1 defeat by Liverpool, but has calmed lingering injury concerns in an Instagram message. Let's now do some Carabao Cup news, and there was some action last night. Wolves, they beat Leeds United by 1-0. Nottingham Forest shocked Tottenham Hotspur by beating them by 2-0. Premier League leaders Arsenal are out of the competition after losing at home by 3-1 against Brighton. Tariq Lamptey was on target for Brighton. Southampton progressed to the next round after a 6-5 penalty shootout win against Sheffield Wednesday. West Ham United have been knocked out. They lost 10-9 on penalties at home against Blackburn Rovers. Newcastle progressed to the next round with a 3-2 penalty shootout victory against Crystal Palace. Chelsea, they lost to Manchester City by 2-0. Liverpool, they also progressed to the next round after a penalty shootout win against Derby County. Let's now hear from the managers. Let's hear from Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta after his side lost 3-1 at home against Brighton.
Two things in the pitch were the boxes, and they were much more efficient than us, and that make the whole difference, because the moment that we were clearly on top of the game and we had the chances to get away with the game, we conceded the goal, and that changed the game. Losing it is, but the way the boys try it and play, and with the amount of changes that we have to make because of the congestion, and we have to protect the players and give players chances, I'm really happy with that. But obviously, we wanted to continue on the competition, and unfortunately, we are out.
That was Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta speaking there. Let's now hear from Chelsea boss Graham Potter. He says he saw some positives despite his team's 2-0 loss at Man City.
Yeah, I thought there were quite a few positives, to be honest. I thought, obviously, we're disappointed with the result, but in terms of how he played, created some good chances. There was a better structure and a better performance level. The team looked closer to what we wanted it to look like. Boys had great courage. They tried against, obviously, a top team. Their keeper got the man of the match, I think, which tells a little bit of the story. But, yeah, overall, I think a step forward for us.
Chelsea manager Graham Potter speaking there. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp, he was happy with his side's performance, especially in the penalty shootout against Derby County.
Tonight about 3 really good penalties. They all go in the corner. So it's not that it's like a bad one and they don't hit the ball or slip a little bit before they shoot or whatever. No, they're really good, and he saved them anyway. So that's massive. But I think we never hold it back somehow that we said, oh, we could not play. No, he's exceptional. He's absolutely exceptional. Had now not the best season so far because he came back from holiday and was injured. And it took a really long time to get him back in training and back to speed. But obviously he's ready now. The goalkeeper coaches are just doing an incredible job. He's there. And I'm pretty sure he would say it exactly the same. It's their product because what they do with him and the goalie they develop is a modern goalie.
That was Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp speaking there, bringing an end to kickoff here on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Daniel Cranting. For more sports news, visit citisportsonline.com. Kickoff was brought to you by the Shell.
Trust the process. The biggest things often start small. No matter where you are now, the most important decision you will make today is knowing where you'll be tomorrow. All you have to do is take the next step. Believe in your journey and go with passion. Because when you go with passion, you go big. You explore the possibilities. You create the tomorrow of your dreams. So come along and let's go big with our passion. Apply for a loan now and power your ambitions. Get plugged in. Let's go big. Powered by Lesieho.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Hello there. Welcome to On the Money, brought to you by Old Mutual Ghana. Today, we'll learn about the secret of the buffalo. Hardly do you see a buffalo all by itself. The buffalo is very brave and can't dare to challenge the king of the jungle himself. The lesson drawn from the secret of the buffalo is investing. Just as the buffalo grows its head, you too can steadily grow your money many times. In investment, always focus on 3 main things. 1. The compound effect of money growth. The longer the time of investment, the higher the returns. 2. Risk. Opt for safer investment or mix low-risk investment with high-risk investment. 3. Inflation. All the growth made on the money should increase its purchasing power and hedge it against inflation. Relying on government pensions alone in retirement is not advisable. You can plan a great retirement life with the Old Mutual Retirement Salary. It guarantees you monthly income all your retirement life. Call us today to help you plan structured savings towards retirement. On the Money, brought to you by Old Mutual Ghana.
1xBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. 1xBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at 1xBet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. 1xBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Introducing the fresh range of Samsung phones, the all-new Samsung Galaxy A04s. comes with a crystal clear 6.5-inch display, awesome 50-megapixel camera, and 5-megapixel front camera, awesome 5000 mAh battery, and all the swag you get from a Samsung Galaxy phone. That means you can capture life's great moments, see every detail of your favorite reels and videos, and do all this with all-day battery power. The Samsung Galaxy A04s is the new kid in town, and you just want to touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Visit the nearest Samsung shop or authorized phone dealer to get your Samsung Galaxy A04s and experience the first of Samsung's new range of phones. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. Shut up!
It's creamy, creamy plus, delicious milk, creamy plus for you.
Creamy Plus is a delightfully delicious option whenever and wherever the occasion calls for milk. For your quick meals on the go or quality time at the dining table, jazz up your favorite Gary soakings, mashed kenke, cereals, and all hot and cold beverages with a creamy, protein-rich, healthy option of milk. Creamy Plus evaporated milk with vegetable fat is all you need to stay on the go. Creamy Plus evaporated milk is now available in a shop near you.
For bulk purchases, please contact Les Farm Distributors at Medina Ritz Junction on 0501 682 522, or Grace has found us at Akoto Photo Dansoman on 0245 162 747.
Creamy plus for you.
Creamy Plus evaporated milk.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
This festive season, choose ShopRite for low prices and get the best deals. Like a 500-gram pack of Good Start White Oats, only 19 cedis, 99 pesos, and 150 ml tub of Fun Ice Cream Assorted, just 4 cedis, 29 pesos each. Choose from a delicious roast to a wide range of liquor, quality appliances, and the best toys for every child. Choose low prices this festive season. Offers valid until 20th November. ShopRite. Lower prices you can trust always.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Alande! Me say, Alande! Alande!
Adepen Alande.
Ghana Pay Alande.
Hey, finally! Ghana Pay Alande.
Do more your way on Ghana Pay. Send and receive money at zero transaction fees. Pay bills, buy airtime and data. Transfer money in and out of your bank account and so much more with Ghana Pay. Dial *707# to register for Ghana Pay or download the Ghana Pay app from the Play Store or App Store.
Alande! Alande! Ghana Pay Alande.
Ghana Pay. Your money, your way.
This service is powered by Gibbs.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show. The city's biggest conversation. The Citi Breakfast Show. Rise above the noise.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi 97.3.
The Citi Breakfast Show.
As night fades up, faded by the sun, 10,000 men stand high on the hill.
Still listening to the Citi Breakfast Show. You can send us your messages on 0549 986 996. 11th or 10th of November 2022. Okay. A few birthday messages. Let me read this one. This one says, happy birthday, wifey. Thank you for being the reason for my smile. I love you so much. May God bless you forever and always. Words will never be enough to say how much you mean to me. The kids and I say God bless you. Happy birthday, Ivy Baba San, Zenith Bank Premier Towers. Message coming from your husband Benjamin Patawa. So today's Patawa's wife's birthday. So Mrs. Patawa technically.
I also have another one. Actually, let me add my voice to the Patawa one because Patawa has been supplying me jerseys. Patawa is your jersey supplier.
Yeah, he is.
But I want to say a happy birthday to Raphael Selom Ativo.
Okay.
He's a lawyer with, he's with Cleveland Tove. He's not a lawyer, he's with Cleveland Tove as an investment company. Happy birthday from his wife, Araba, and his siblings. Message, we love you and we are proud of you. And I want to add my voice as an Odadie. It's a pre-second as well.
Okay.
So, Ralph, enjoy your day and let number 7 give you solace. Let number 7 give you solace. Only the discerning will understand.
This one says, happy birthday to Rosemont Alote, Republic Bank, Achimota branch. You are a true definition of a virtuous woman and an amazing wife. From Edward Alote. And the kids.
Birthday wishes to Papa Kwame Osei, freshest BCE candidate of Christian Homeschool. His brother celebrated his birthday about a week and a half ago. Today is his birthday, and this is coming from your mom, and she says, our first pride and joy. You know, firstborn. Our first pride and joy. Immeasurable blessings all the days of your life, Papa. Love you till eternity and beyond. This is coming to you, Papa, from your mother and your brother, from myself, from Auntie Brago, and everybody else.
But I thought they finished BC.
Yeah, so he's done.
So first BC graduate.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay.
So he's done. So, Papa, I've got surprises coming your way too. Today. Party time.
Party time. All right, this one says, happy 5th birthday to Frederick Mate Donolo Etiam Abe. We love you so much, our firstborn, from your parents Nayo and Apioko.
Can you mention? I like the name. What's the name again?
Frederick Mate Donolo Etiam Abe.
Charlie, only Apioko will give it. It's like a royal title. It's like Drolo. Donolo.
Yeah.
No, Apioko, you're a big one.
Yeah, so that's coming from Nayo and Apioko.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah.
7:35. There's still the Citi Breakfast Show. You can send your messages on 0549 986 996. This morning we'll have a brief chat with the government statistician. Yesterday he dropped the latest inflation numbers. Charlie, some of it.
He wasn't smiling, cry. Charlie, made me hard.
If he is not smiling, what we do?
Made me rough.
Charlie, he dropped the percentage, and my head said to do something.
40.4.
Tell you.
Serious.
So we'll talk to him and try and understand, the stories behind the numbers and what exactly is going on. But if you're an enterprise customer, this recognition is for you. Now, 4 of Enterprise's subsidiaries, Enterprise Insurance, Enterprise Life, Enterprise Trustees, and Acacia earned their respective positions as top companies in Ghana's Club 100. Again, in the recent CIMG Awards, Enterprise Insurance was retained in the CIMG Hall of Fame for the 6th straight time. And Enterprise Life was adjudged the Life Insurance Company of the Year, and Enterprise Trustees, the Corporate Trustees Company of the Year. We dedicate these awards to you, our valued customers. Dream big with us. Enterprise is your advantage. Now, who can you call your true friend in times of uncertainties? We at SIC Life are your true friends for life. The SIC Life Final Journey Plan provides immediate cash out to meet the funeral expenses of beneficiaries and covers as many as 12 persons. The policy gives you a maximum cover of 50,000 cedis. You could also enjoy 15% cashback payments of the last 3 years. So get on the SIC Life Final Journey plan today. Call 0302 750151 or send a WhatsApp message to 0501 456 983. Visit siclife.com.gh or get to them on their social media handles at SIC Life Ghana. SIC Life, absolute peace of mind. And Richoko is your favorite cocoa beverage made from the finest Ghanaian cocoa, and it's back with the national essay competition. There's 100,000 cedis worth of cash prizes to be taken away by junior, high and upper primary pupils. Now, what are they supposed to do? They're supposed to write an essay describing 5 things they would like to see to help improve access to basic education in Ghana. The essay must be written and should not be less than 750 words for junior high pupils and 600 words for upper primary pupils. Now, submit your essay together with empty packs of either Richoko 1 kg or 500 gram or 5 packs of Richoko 20 gram and complete contact information to selected vantage points across the country. Deadline for submission of entries is the 19th of November. And you can visit Cadbury Richoko Facebook and Instagram pages for more details. Now, like I said, yesterday the new inflation figures dropped for October. It was 40.4.
Yep.
40.4%. That's crazy. But if you go back, say, to Tuesday, we were kind of, just the Ghanaian Times did a very interesting story, just focusing on the construction industry. Of course, we went into a conversation about the construction industry suffering and the knock-on effects on the economy. But if you just look at the prices of the things in that space, you see that they have increased dramatically, right? Yeah. And of course, what is inflation? Inflation just looks at the rate at which prices go up, goods and services, the rate at which they go up. Now, check this out, okay? Now, if you wanted to buy high tensile iron rod, for example, some time back it was 4,500. Then it moved up to 6,500 to 8,500.
When you say some time back, is it like a year ago? Is it
January? Okay, let's say within 4 months. So let's say within 4 months, right?
4 months.
Within 4 months, we went from 4,500 to 6,500 to 8,500 and now to 11,500.
In the same year?
In the same year. Okay, in the same year. So just
high tensile.
So just iron rods. Iron rods. Okay. Now if you look at cement we've been talking about, so some we can relate.
Yeah.
Okay. 50 cedis it went from less than 50 cedis a bag to between 80 and 85 cedis.
So this 50 was also at beginning of the year?
Yes, let's say about 4 months ago. I hope.
Okay.
So let's say yes, between April and now. Right?
Wow.
Now somebody's being quoted here. The person says, for example, in Abetifi, within a week, the price of sand that was 1,800 went to 2,500. Now it's 3,100.
Within what?
Within a week.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
A week.
Now they are quoting Simon Sawetete. He's a contractor. Now sand went from 1,800 to 2,500 to 3,001.
Wow.
Okay. Now chippings, for example, went up from 3,000 cedis to 4,500. And it's currently selling at 5,500.
So most of these things you're saying are within the year in the construction sector. I wonder whether the same can be said of other sectors, because inflation measures a bag of goods.
Yes.
The BNFT sort of the report sort of give you the 5 key drivers.
The 5 key drivers. So basically, across the 13-year divisions with year on year, you have housing, water, electricity, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels. They're leading by 69.6%. That's followed by
69.6%. That's like 70%.
Yes. So followed by furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenance. That's at 55.7%. Transport at 46.3%, and personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous goods and services at 45%. Then you have food and non-alcoholic beverages at 43%.
Just be clear. So you're saying that the highest drivers include housing, water, and what?
That's housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels.
Is it in the same group or different?
That's
group?
what it does. Yes.
Housing,
yes,
water, electricity.
Yes.
That would be in the same.
That's the same.
But I think
group.
gas and fuel will be separate.
Yeah, but they put them in the same category.
No, they didn't. I think they said they both rose by the same amount. Because you can't have housing and gas and electricity. You can't have housing and fuel in the same.
Okay, then perhaps. So the way the story is written.
So let's look at the people themselves when they release the thing. So it's housing, water, electricity is 1, 69%. Then fuel and gas is also 69%. Do you follow me? Then the transport is 46. Then household equipment is 55. So my point is that housing and because you just mentioned construction, right?
Yes.
So I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Let's get to the line.
Categorized because even here they did the same.
Okay. Let's get to the line. Let's speak to Professor Samuel Enim, who's the government statistician.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, he and his people at the office work the numbers. They study these things, so we can get some clarity. Professor Enim, good morning. Welcome to the Citi Breakfast Show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me on the show.
Many thanks for your time. We were just having a conversation and just having a chit chat about all of these things. Now the Ghanaian Times, on Tuesday looked at the construction sector, for example, and marked out a lot of the increases in a lot of the things used in that space. Yesterday, your outfit put out the latest inflation numbers for October, for example. Now, how does the Ghana Statistical Service just measure these changes? And for construction, for example, did you factor that into your working in putting out the latest inflation numbers?
Thank you very much. We are always delighted when you guys engage with the data at the disaggregated level, because clearly the aggregated figure masks the details that we have with the release. So we compute the consumer price index and rate of inflation with an order of the product. So we first release the headline figure, which obviously puts together everything, and do disaggregation based on food and non-food, and whether it's based on locally produced items or imported items. Within the domain of non-food items, we can spread it out to other 12 categories, which gives us the 13 divisions. So we have the 13 divisions, which we have food and non-alcoholic beverages as one, and the other 12 divisions include things like housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuel as one component. The second component being furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenance, transport, personal care, social protection, and miscellaneous goods, and so on. So we have the 13 divisions, and further down, we disaggregate the 13 divisions into 44 groups. So, for instance, we'll further break down the housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels into different groups. And we have 44 of them. Do a further breakdown to 98 classes, a further breakdown to 156 subclasses, and a further breakdown to 307 items. So currently, Ghana Statistical Service measures consumer price index rate of inflation based on 307 items. I need to indicate that for all these 307 items, we have their relative weight, which is the share of expenditure that households put on these goods and services. Of these 307 items, because of different brands, so for instance, if you take imported rice, which is an item, we can have imported rice as in Gino, imported rice as in any of the other imported rice that we could think about. So if you do the further brands of these 307 items, we collect data on a monthly basis on about 48,000 products. But we do not compute CPI and rate of inflation at the product level. At the brand level, that's at the 48,000 level. We do that, as I said, based on the hierarchy from 13 divisions to 307 items, the hierarchy that I explained earlier on.
Prof, just to clarify something. So you said there's initially one, you do food and non-food, and then you do local and imported. Then under non-food, you have 12.
Yes.
Okay. Now, those 12, I find that the categorization is very unwieldy because you have housing, electricity, gas, and other fuels. How does housing and fuels get into the same set? Because I felt fuel is such a specific set. Fuel prices are such an important driver of other costs, and housing is such a specific area of spending. How are you able to put them into one group?
So, Bernard, as I indicated, I'm pretty excited you are discussing the disaggregate. So beyond the 13 classes, the divisions that you've talked about, where we have housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels as one group, below that you can subcategorize this at the 44 groups level. Beyond the 44 groups, so I can now tell you what goes into housing, what goes into water, what goes into electricity, what goes into gas, and what goes into other fuels. And we don't end at the 34 groups. We further do it at the class level where we have 98, so at the group level where we have 98 classes. So we can do the classification up to the item level of 307. So yesterday when we did the release, although we said housing, water, electricity, and gas was 69%, we provided a slide in our release that gave the year-on-year change for diesel, which is a component of that, which on a year-on-year basis, it had gone up by 155.6.
Wow, interesting. So the categorization at the 44 different group level, is that available if we want that to study for our own purposes? Is that available for us?
Yes, we can do that on request. We don't put it out when we are doing the release. So when we are doing the release, we end at the division level, which is the 13
groups. I see.
But Prof, in terms of the times that we are in, do you not think that 44 is actually the more relevant unit? Because the categorizations, again, are very big. And I know for your purposes, you want to make things simple. But there are specific drivers of, for me, like as you said, diesel is such an important component of construction. It's a very key important of manufacturing because a lot of the plants use diesel. So diesel deserves to stand alone. Gas, LPG deserves to stand. I'm not a statistician, but I'm just saying, we are not in ordinary times. So maybe you may want to, and of course, I know you've even improved the way you share your information with infographics and everything else. But I feel that in times like this, with the way people are feeling the pinch of inflation, to give it more believability, you may want to actually publish the specifics so that people can know exactly and compare. Because one of the things that we keep hearing is that, how can you say inflation is 40%? I mean, Nathan just read that a trip of something from in 4 months had increased by over 3 times, right? So maybe the service may want to take a second look at what you communicate because you want the public to know that you are actually on the money.
Bernard, you are absolutely right. The only difference between what we are doing and what we are saying is how we are approaching it. We are very sensitive to the technicalities when it comes to the weight. So yesterday, we provided 20 items that have seen the highest change. And why we do not want to put all the 44 out there is once people begin to say, let's say, about 44 items have seen changes more than 50%, and rate of inflation is 40.4%, they'll begin to question why that. Not relating it to the fact that if an item has changed by, let's say, 200% or 150%, and it has a weight of, let's say, 0.1%, its contribution to the overall inflation will be less significant. So yesterday, what we put out there, for instance, we said diesel, which had gone up by 155.6%, has a weight of 0.2%. Petrol that had gone up by 111.9% had a weight of 1.4%. I was a bit hesitant putting out the 20th item, the 19th item, because that has to do with instant noodles and pasta, which had gone up by 78.9%, but Bernard, it has a weight of only 0.1. So you're going to see other items here that would have recorded a change of, let's say, 10%, a change of 20%, with weight higher than the top 20 as we put out there. And that is why we want to put it out there in piecemeal so that people will just suppose the price changes with the relative weight.
Right. So fair enough. This October has been very challenging for people. So I'll give you a personal example. We're going to buy something from one of the furniture shops, and we went on a Thursday, and they mentioned the amount. When we went on Monday with the money, they said the thing had gone up there was an extra 2,800 cedis we needed to add to the thing, which was around 8,000. So it's like 10,000 something. Now, does your inflation measure these type of things in terms of the speed with which, in fact, one of the shops told us they don't even write the price of the item on the good anymore. When you come, you call us and then we check our system and then we mention it for you. I mean, is this not what people consider hyperinflation?
I wouldn't get into the conversation on hyperinflation now, but I'll just walk you through the processes and when we collect the data. Let me precede that by indicating that hopefully next week, as we celebrate our African Statistics Week, we're going to launch a product where people can calculate their own personal inflation based on their basket of goods that they consume. So we always need to keep in mind that this is an average prices of general goods and services. If your consumption basket is skewed towards items that have seen much higher increases but have less weight, you're going to see an inflation higher than what we publish. But we are taking the average weight based on living standards and the 307 items. So we always have to keep in mind that different groups of people, urban, rural, poor, rich people, would experience different levels of price changes, upward price changes, not necessarily related to the overall inflation. Related to the point that you made in terms of prices increasing in October, we collect our monthly prices in the first week of the month. So, for instance, for the release that we did yesterday, the data was collected in the first week of October. Whatever changes that occurred between the second week and the fourth week of October, that effect would reflect when we do the November release. So as we speak now, we are very sensitive to the price changes that occurred in terms of fuel that occurred in the first week of November. So although we did a release yesterday, which was nice, definitely whatever effect that the price changes would have come by with in the first week of November wouldn't have reflected in the release that is the 40.4% that we released yesterday.
Great. Typically, when you put out your data, we know the what. So inflation has gone up 40.4%. In the previous month, it was around 37%. But do you put out the why? Why are we experiencing these increases over time? Why are the prices of goods and services skyrocketing almost daily?
I'll provide a response at two levels. I mean, definitely we do the what the inflation figure is.
Yes.
And I would say to an extent we do the why. And why I say to an extent is that anytime you think about the why, pardon me if I'm going to sound a bit technical here, you need to think about the deterministic part. That is, when you are doing the calculation, what really accounted for the figure that you have. And that is what we can explain. Because as we've talked about in the past 10 minutes, once you are putting out the figure, we look at the disaggregate. So, for instance, now you can clearly see that housing, water, electricity, and gas and other fuels contributed significantly. We also look at the weight, and we can say that food contributed significantly. But the undeterministic part, the functional part, is where variables that we do not capture data on, but we are certain that they have passed through effects on some of the disaggregates. A typical example and what is in the media space is the role of exchange rate. So definitely the role of exchange rate influences inflation. But we are not, as Ghana Statistical Service, able to specifically say that this is the extent, based on our release, this is the extent to which exchange rate is impacting on the current inflation rate. You can only do that through a functional relationship and then say that, okay, as I said, I don't want to get technical. You control for all the other things and say that this is the extent to which exchange rate passes through, let's say, rent. Exchange rate passes through, let's say, any of the other subcategories that we talked about, all the imported items, and eventually influences our inflation rate. Is this helpful?
Yeah, so I get the point, but I think the other question is, again, we are not in ordinary times, and I listened to your lecture. You're saying academics have to change and stuff like this. Do you feel the statistical service can be more proactive in the way it I mean, the BOG does what it does from its side, okay? And statistics is such a big institution with so many professionals, and you measure important things like inflation. Do you feel you need to be more prescriptive in your? I mean, because you've said it. If you said to us that you've measured inflation since records started, and so you are in a position of authority to tell Ghana that when we disaggregate the fact, we think that your overdependence on imports or your this or that or the other is what is driving the numbers, and therefore do this. Do you not feel that you have the, I won't say right, but
locus?
Yeah, you have the locus to do that because you have all the data. You are the official person who looks at the numbers carefully. You are objective, so you should be able to add your voice to the discourse beyond simply coming to say inflation is 40%, which a lot of people say, yeah, we already know. So what's your problem? Do you understand my question?
No, I perfectly understand it, and I share that concern, and that is why now Ghana Statistical Service would have, I say would have because we are going through the process, would have a public policy. But Bernard, ahead of that, what we did last month was to bring together all the media guys that sit around when we are doing the release. And this conversation that we just had, I got somebody from academia to engage them on how we should have the conversation around it. The reason why Ghana Statistical Service has not been very prescriptive is that once you get into the policy-making space, of which Ghana Statistical Service for now is not within the policy-making space, we are unable to touch on the details of it. Let me give you an example. Anybody who takes exchange rate figures in the last 20 years, 30 years, and takes our inflation figures in the last 20, 30 years, can simply make an attempt to estimate the extent to which exchange rate is impacting on our inflation. I mean, you can easily do that, get a figure of like 30%. That figure will not be accurate if simultaneously you don't know what the other MDAs are doing. So, for instance, exchange rate will not work in isolation in terms of its impact on inflation. Money supply would impact inflation. Food would impact inflation. What transport is doing would impact inflation. What housing is doing would impact inflation. So we really need to have that inter-ministerial engagement to simultaneously know the interventions that are being put in place and then also how the market is reacting before one can be prescriptive and say that if you hold all these other things constant, which should be in your model, this is the extent to which exchange rate is impacting on inflation. We should also be mindful of the fact that, and here I'm speaking as an academic, we should also be mindful of the fact that inflation also influences exchange rate. It is not a unidirectional effect where we say that it's exchange rate that is impacting inflation. But once you think about it holistically, people's expectations about inflation is making them behave in a way which is affecting the exchange rate. So it's a conversation that requires an interministerial engagement with all the relevant policy initiatives that are underway, taken into the modeling.
Just a quick question. When I looked at the top 6 drivers of inflation in your 13 product categorization, a few things jump at me. Some of the things influence others. So, for example, you have the first one being housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels. Fuel obviously influences transport, right? And then transport also influences food. All right. So first question, how do you ensure you don't do double counting? Because if fuel goes up, it will affect transport. If transport goes up, it will affect food. Second point of note is that of the top 6 drivers, food was the lowest. But still, it is much higher than the average of 40. All right. So, and when I look at the top 6, it seems to me as if these should have a lot of weight. I don't know what else is in the 12, because if food is higher than 40, personal care, social protection, miscellaneous higher than 40, transport is higher than 40, household furniture, equipment higher than 40, and then housing and fuels higher than 40. Again, we learned in school that if your next marginal is higher than your previous, then the average goes up. So just some quick thoughts on what is going on with these top 6 drivers. Just a little more elaboration.
Thank you, and I can't stop saying that I'm really happy you are bringing up these issues. Anytime we are doing the release, we make a categorical statement that the hierarchy is ordered in a mutually exclusive manner. And what that simply means is that if I take an item out of the 307 items and I put it in one subclass, it cannot go into any other subclass. If I take an item from the subclass, the 156 subclasses, and I put it in any of the 98 subclasses, it wouldn't reflect in any other of the 98 classes. So by so doing, double counting would never occur. And that is what enables us to carefully estimate or calculate the inflation rate for the 13 divisions. Having said that, we always talk about the pass-through effect. So you are absolutely right, and that is what we keep saying, that assuming there is an increase in utility, it would definitely in subsequent months have a pass-through effect. In the current month, from the computational point of view, there wouldn't be any double counting. But once you increase fuel prices like diesel, and you get to transport bus fares, its effect would occur in the subsequent month. So the kind of analysis that we are trying to put out there is getting a better understanding of, if you increase petrol by 1 Ghana cedi, how many months would it take to fully exhaust the pass-through effect of the different interrelations that you've identified, such as its effect on transport, its effect on the prices of all the other commodities, i.e. restaurants, information, and all that. Because it is key for all the other categorizations. But double counting would never happen because of the mutually exclusive characterization for computing CPI and rate of inflation.
Professor Nim, just one last question before we let you go. Mona Korte, former Deputy Finance Minister, she's asserting that we've had inflation increasing consecutively for 17 months. I mean, how true is this? And in terms of inflation numbers, what was the highest Ghana has ever experienced in the last, say, 25 to 30 years or over a period?
Okay, I need to double check that, but my on top of my head, the recollection that I have is that we started seeing this increase in October 2021 and up to now. So I think in September there was stability, so we cannot count from anything before October 2021. And based on that, we can talk about a 12 month consistent increase in the rate of inflation. We did record something slightly higher than that in 2013, 2014, where we saw about 14, 15 months consistent increase in the rate of inflation. But please, given the conversation that we've had, let me further clarify that. You recall we did rebasing in 2018, and recently we've redistributed the weight to reflect the 6 new regions that we've had. And anytime we do that, we do backcasting. And what backcasting means is that we look at the computation that we've done and change the previous inflation rate to reflect whatever rebasing that we've done. So simply what we are saying is that if prior to 2018 we had, let's say, 267 items, and now we have 307 items, the 267 that are still part of the 307 items, we can recalculate their inflation rate based on the change in basket. So I'm just saying this so that we keep in mind the change, the backcasting that we've done to reflect the rebasing and the redistribution of the weight.
Okay. I just wanted to find out, is 40.4 the highest we've ever done as a country, or we've gone higher than that?
Oh, we've definitely recorded higher rates. I mean, during the 1980s, early 70s, we had interest rates skyrocketing over 100%. But I'm always circumspect in doing this comparison because of the earlier explanation that I gave in terms of the basket and the rebasing exercise.
Okay. Prof, thank you so much. That was Professor Samuel Enim. He's the government statistician. Always, whenever he can, he's very ready and willing to speak to us. So so at least now you have a better understanding of some of these numbers, and you have a better understanding of how they come up with some of these numbers. But I'm happy that he highlighted the fact that there's a 44 good or service categorization they do, and that is where if we get that. I mean, like you said, we can ask him and then he'll share it with us too. But it's time for tech and social media trends, and that segment is brought to us by
our friends at Vodafone. Now, for many of us, social connections get us through the day, which is why Vodafone's refreshed red offers now give you so much value. Dial *200# and enjoy longer conversations with friends and family on networks, and the freedom to purchase bundles for others to keep them connected for longer. Dial *200# today and enjoy the best value. Vodafone, further together. It's also brought to you by Cal Bank. Shop online or in-store using our range of debit and prepaid cards, Visa, MasterCard, and GH Link. To learn more about digital solutions and discount partners, call 0800 500 500. Cal Bank, forward together.
And Daniel Quantin is back with the segment.
Nathan, we'll start with Ama Governor.
She's
a YouTuber.
Okay.
She's also in law school.
Okay.
Brilliant girl. She went to Achimota School.
I see.
It looks like she will not be called to the bar. Yes, a complaint was made about her character to the General Legal Council. So it looks like they are going to deny her. But you see, if you read the provisions that they are using to do this thing, it says a person shall be qualified for enrollment if he satisfies the General Legal Council. A, that he is of good character, that he holds a qualifying certificate granted under Part 2 of this Act. So that is perhaps the exams.
Yeah.
And he also says that General Legal Council shall from time to time hold formal meetings at which the duly qualified applicants shall enroll, call to the bar, but the council may use their discretionary to dispense the formalities under the section in any particular case. So the word discretion.
It's the good character part for me. I'm just curious as to what the criteria is to determine that someone is of good character. Is it because the person wears a bikini on social media? Is it because of certain words the person posts? Is it because of certain viewpoints the person holds? What exactly does good character mean? And, we understand they're asking for other applicants to also submit their social media handles for scrutiny. But again, it would be nice if we had an idea of what good character
what they mean
constitutes.
And on that, the SRC says it's not true. It says no student has been asked to submit their social media handles for scrutiny.
The SRC
that's what the SRC is saying.
That's what the SRC is saying.
But you see online publications saying that it's not mandatory.
SRC says it's not true. It's not true.
Okay, if SRC says it's not true,
okay,
so then we stick with Ama Governor's particular case then.
Yes.
Let's stick with that. We're just curious. We'd like to know, GLC, what constitutes good character for someone who wants to become a lawyer? Please tell us.
So we'll come out and we'll tell you later.
Well, let's keep it. This country is run by lawyers. So. Have you seen the state of this country? This one, Ghana. It is run by lawyers. Have you seen the state of it?
Lawyers of good character.
There's this video on social media, Nathan, it's not small. So it's a mate and a passenger. They are fighting. But let's rewind. Let me tell you the genesis of the fight. So the guy boards the Trotsky.
Yes.
And he asks the mate the fare. The mate says 8 cedis 50 pesos. The guy says, but yesterday I paid 7 cedis 50 pesos. The mate says, no lie, this is the new fare. He begs the mate, he says, see, I don't have 1 Ghana. So I beg you take this 7 Ghana 50 pesos. The mate is reluctant, he's doing that, I don't want to take it. The driver says, see, you just take it doesn't matter. Tomorrow when he comes, you pay 8 cedis 50 pesos. So the guy says, oh, thank you, mate. So they are going, because of the potholes and things.
This is Boy Road. This one there's Boy Road.
They're going, then this guy has taken his bags. He has opened his zip. He has removed meat pie from his bag. Then they are in traffic. Burkina. Then the guy buys Burkina 1 cedi. Then he says, hey!
Wait, I don't believe this story. Because you can't buy Burkina 1 cedi, can you? It will be more.
No, you can't.
Are you sure? The tiny one is still 1 cedi.
The small one.
Put this in the rubber bag.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the 1 cedi one.
Then Mr. Hey!
Calm down.
This guy! Then he turns, he said, isn't this a guy who said he doesn't have 1 cedi?
Yes.
The guy is trying to explain that, mate, see, the budget, it is 7 Ghana 50 pesos for fare. 1 cedi, no. The meat pie, I brought it from the house.
But the Burkina.
The Burkina, no. You see the I can't eat the meat pie raw. You understand? So I have to. The mate say, no.
You pay.
All of a sudden, blows over. Therefore, give your blows. The message give me my 1 CD. You are drinking Burkina, you can't give me my 1 CD. Give me my 1 CD. Oh. Ghana is hard.
Charlie, Professor, inflation.
It's no joke. Sadio Mane is also trending.
Right.
Charlie.
Oh, he will go.
Sadio there.
When I saw the reporter, they say he is out of the World Cup, I was laughing. Where?
The Senegalese said we don't respect the report of Bayern Munich. Bring the player. We'll do our own assessment.
The Traditional Healers Association are having a meeting.
2 days, you'll be fine. 2 days, you'll be fine. Son Heung-min, he has also told the South Koreans that don't worry, don't mind these people. I'll be there. Don't worry at all. But you see, Twitter, some tech news, Twitter some time ago, was it? Yeah, last week. They cut off some of their workers. Facebook, Meta also doing the same thing. The owners of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. They are cutting off 13% of their workforce. Wow. So it's about 11,000 employees. So 11,000 people are going to be jobless by the end of the week, who are employed by Meta, of course. Charlie, times are hard. 11,000 people who are fighting over 1 CD Burkina.
Now, second social media trends brought to us by Cowbank and Vodafone.
Christy, how long have we been doing these businesses?
Oh, just about.
Christy, stop. How long are we going to stay calling ourselves small businesses?
Oh, but small.
Christy, the small is enough. It's our time, oh. Let's move forward. The volumes you are doing now are okay, but imagine doing more. You can expand this warehouse, bring in more brands. Look, it's time, Christy. Let's grow.
Hey, but where are you going?
To Cowbank. Christy, I said it's our time.
Wait for me, eh?
Yes, woman, it's your time to grow with Cowbank Women's Banking. With specialized products and services, get easy access to funds for the import and clearing of goods, invoice discounting and funds for local purchase orders to keep the cash flowing and your business growing. Sign up for Cowbank Women's Banking today. Let's take your business to the next level. Woman, it's your time. Cowbank, forward together.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.